Hi everyone, welcome back to my garage. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. It's not a how-to video. We're actually going to talk about classic cars, their oil requirements, but primarily we're actually going to focus on the Valvoline synthetic blend high mileage oil. And I thought I'd do this video more for our Canadian viewers, because our American viewers are going to be familiar with this format, but this box is going to look pretty foreign to most Canadian viewers. So the premise on the video here is, behind me I have my 1988 Grand Prix, which is a one-owner car. And as the weather's getting better, it's a great day today, but calling some rain. As the weather gets better, I'm actually going to do a review video on that car, and we'll do a driving video. But I'm getting all the vehicles ready for the summer driving season. So it's time for an oil change. And I thought we'd have a discussion around classic older cars, the new oils, and starting a review video of the semi-synthetic blend Valvoline High Mileage. The reason I thought about doing this video is that there may be other people out there that are in a similar situation as myself. I've got this car that's run really well, is designed to run a 5W30 conventional oil, which is what it has run all its life. But a few years ago, in my dealership, I used to order Castrol Edge for our motorhome customers. And it's a really good oil, as most of the oils today are. And I decided I was going to switch because it was getting harder to get the conventional oils. And there was even a spell where the conventional was way more money than the semi-synthetics and the synthetics. So I thought, okay, I'm going to switch over. But I missed something that I didn't think about. These older cars are designed that their tolerances aren't as tight as today's vehicles. And today's vehicles are done that way, one, because things improve over time, but also they run synthetic oils right from the factory. So your tolerances, when you tighten down everything on an engine, has to be tighter, or you're going to get oil leaks. Now, when I switched over to the synthetic oil, it was great. Nothing happened, got great protection, and this engine has been running literally like it's brand new. But I noticed about 2 years ago, so 2 seasons ago, I noticed that when I took the car out for a drive, I came back, I stopped it, I would get some oil drips on the ground. And I thought that was really weird. Drove me crazy, because put the car up on the hoist, go looking around, drop cameras down at the side of the engine, go looking for what this issue is to make sure it's not a bigger issue. Drive the car, check the oil before you leave, come back, let the car sit, check the oil, and lo and behold, the oil level hasn't dropped enough to be able to tell. And you could go out for 3-4 runs, and it wouldn't drop enough that you could really tell. But you know that there's oil drips. And I'm very particular about my cars, so it drove me crazy. And then it hit me. The detergents in today's oils over the last 5-10 years have gotten a lot better. There's a higher percentage of detergents because the synthetic oils are staying in the cars longer. Like my GMs have an oil monitoring system. So I've had GMs that, if they're running in optimal conditions, sometimes you could get 12, 15, 18,000 kilometers on an oil change. Pull that oil out and it still has life in it. So it hit me. Likely what has happened, conventional oil is dirtier, just from the nature of it. And what has likely happened is the higher detergents in the newer oils, after a few years of running, have actually cleaned up the engine inside. even though it has been clean, it's not showing any sludge, it has naturally cleaned up some of the deposits around the gaskets, etc. Now, the older cars aren't built to the same finer tolerances. And naturally, and I've been doing a bit of research and reading and have heard this with some people running older cars with synthetic oils, they get seepage. And that's really what I could bring it down to, is two factors. We're getting some seepage because the tolerances aren't as fine as the new engines, and the gaskets are getting older, so they may have shrunk a little bit, which has increased that the openings for oil to slide through a little bit, and all of a sudden you've got some oil dropping. Not huge to worry about, at least now, but a little bit. So last year, for last year's driving season, I thought what I would do is use a high mileage oil that has conditioners for the different seals and gaskets, and that I would go to a semi-synthetic blend as my initial first step. So pull back from full synthetic, go to a semi-synthetic, a little bit thicker that way, still using a 5W30, because a few people have said in some forums, go to a 10W30. And I'd rather stay with the original manufacturer specs. So I'm going to try the semi-synthetic. Now, last year in Canada, we couldn't get the Valvoline. It was sold out everywhere. And I happened to be on a business trip a few months ago in the US and saw something interesting. And we're going to talk about that in a second. So I started with a Pennzoil semi-synthetic. And it dripped a bit through the season, got better towards the end of the season. Now, over the winter, I run my vehicles every few weeks, just so that oil's running, there's coating in the vehicle, alternators are running, different parts are running. And I have not noticed any dripping while it's been up on the hoist. Now, that also can be because it didn't run higher RPMs. So at idle, we may not be getting that. Last season, even at idle, I did notice it a bit, but over the winter, we didn't. So this year, I've heard that the Valvoline is one of the best in the industry, so I thought we would try it. And that led me to this little discussion, but also because I saw something different and I thought our Canadian viewers would be interested in this. And I'll bring a follow-up video down the road. But what we'll do is we'll talk about our Valvoline semi-synthetic. What I will also do is split this video and have this discussion about the Valvoline separately. Just so that, if the classic car part isn't a big deal, you just have a high mileage vehicle, it's only a few years old, we can talk about this. But for our Canadian viewers, they're going to look at this box and go, what the hell is that? Because here in Canada, everything's sold in jugs primarily, which are typically anywhere from 4 to 5 liters. So just, this is 4.73 liters. That's about 5 quarts US. And we have to buy them in these jugs, or little 1-quart bottles, about 900 milliliters. And I thought this was a great idea, especially for less waste. In the US, you can buy by a variety of manufacturers, Mobil 1, Valvoline, Quaker State, who it is. You can actually buy 12 quarts in a box. And it has a little pouring spout here that pops out at the front, or at the back here. There's a little cutout. You pop this out, and out it comes, which I thought was great, because now I've got oil. If I've got a few vehicles, I can actually buy oil and do a set of oil changes all out of one box, which is really great. I just thought that was a great idea. Plus, because of the less packaging, the bigger volume, you actually get a better deal on your oil. So I thought that would be interesting, and I'd incorporate it into this video briefly for us Canadians because it really was interesting to walk through. Now, this was just purchased through Walmart in the US. They stock it right on their shelves. Really great deal. 12 quarts of oil was something like, and this high mileage semi-synthetic was about $42 US. Today, that would be about $55 Canadian. Well, I can tell you this 4.73 liters, if it's not on sale, runs about $46 Canadian. So for about $10 more, you get almost 3 times the amount of oil. And if you have several vehicles all running the same viscosity, that's a great deal. Buy a box, get 2-3 oil changes done, especially now that a lot of the vehicles, if it's a 4-cylinder turbo, are running 4 to 4.5 liters an oil change. You got 3 oil changes in a box. Anyways, just thought I'd bring that out. I will do a future video, probably end of the summer, early fall, when the vehicle's been running almost a full season, unless I see a real great change right away. And we'll let you know how using the high mileage oil in an older car, now this is 36 years old right now behind us, but how it does at this age. That will also help some of you if you have a car that's 4, 5, 6 years old and you're up above that 100,000 kilometer, 70, I think in the US they say, 70, 75,000 miles to go over to high mileage. We've got 162,000 kilometers on this original car because it was a daily driver when it was new. That's about, for our American friends, that's about 60, 61,000 miles on it. So we'll bring you a follow-up, let you know how this high mileage did. Did we experience that dripping slowing down or even stopping altogether? Been happy with the Pennzoil, but I think if I took this out on a run, running 80, 90, 100 kilometers an hour, 50, 60 miles an hour, I'm going to come back and I'm going to still see it dripping because it was still doing that at end of the driving season. So we'll see how this goes and we'll bring you that follow-up video. If you like the video, please click the like button. Please hit the subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. It'll help for some collaboration work we're hoping to do down the road. And I want to thank you, our viewers. I hope you found it helpful, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.